and I think that's what drives some people crazy who want to keep women small.
Yeah.
What parting
Yes.
words would you have for women before we wrap up, Molly?
Oh, I I want the women that uh, are broken, that are on their knees, that can't imagine getting out. I want them to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and to push yourself
Mm,
to do
yes.
what's right for you it, and put yourself back together.
Yeah.
You can do that, but you have to be strong enough to leave. And when
Right.
you are, you have a support around you. You find the people
Mm,
that will love you and put you back together. I had so many people reach out to me during my second divorce that were in mothers in school with my kids. Their kids were in school, and it was like the time period of people waking up. And so, like first, second, third grade, these mothers would reach out and say, "Tell me how you did it. Tell me what you did." Or and so, and even here in the office, when the women come in, it's hard for them in that period.
right, right.
And so I would give them a divorce basket with like a Jesus candle and a meditation coloring book and chai tea. And it's just like taking time for yourself, but to love yourself enough to get out of that situation. And it's really tough for women.
Mhm.
But when you do, we can celebrate it and you can
Yeah.
be independent.
Right, and notice she did not say everybody, voodoo doll in the basket or anything like that. It's all about
Yeah.
self-care, right? And what you're
Yeah.
describing is exactly how I became a divorce coach, right? Like, it
Mhm.
went through my town, people said, "Call Amy, don't do anything before you
Right.
call her, talk to her," and then I became a coach, and my heart has led me to this work, and, so we're all led to this in a different way,
Mhm.
right? Alex, as an influencer, Molly, you're helping people create their FU rings, and
Mhm.
that is so incredible. I think the common thread among all of us is that after we get through this, we all feel this desire to reach back and help the women behind us, right? Who are still perhaps in that situation. And, I think it's an amazing, amazing thing. Anything you want to say, Alex, before we sign off?
There was 2 things. One, I was gonna say Molly's office feels like you're going into a home, like your own home. So I have to give you credit for that, Molly. It's very like it's not your typical um scary looking like jewelry store where there's like so many things. It really feels one on one and it feels so authentic being there. It feels like you're in your own home. And I love that you have that feel towards that. It's like whether someone's coming to you, for the big moment of popping the question, right? Or coming and needing to cry on the couch. I think that you really have this like warmness into your place and I really love that.
Thank
So
you.
and then, for the message that I have for anyone, going through all this, to follow what Molly said is yes, like the strength is definitely needed. And I think I felt this level of like embarrassment, especially because I came from a very short marriage that was only 8 months. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so embarrassed. Like this just happened. And I remember my parents just saying to me, like, oh, you didn't settle. How is that embarrassing? Like you're getting out.
Mm,
So I think that there's this level of, talking to yourself or talking to people around you to let you know that it's not embarrassing. It is never
mm,
embarrassing to admit that you're unhappy. And the longer that you sit with it, the more unhappy you're going to be. So like if you just have to pull off that band-aid and be uncomfortable for like a
Mhm. Right.
conversation or a week or a month or 2 months,
Right.
3 months, your life afterwards is going to be so much greater. So just
Right.
rip off that band-aid, have the conversation. Even
mm.
like my ex and I had little conversations before we had the big conversation, right? So, it's not just like, oh, here's papers, like I want to get a divorce, right? There is little conversations. So I do believe that it is important to just rip that off, deal with the uncomfortable, because once you deal with the uncomfortable, then the comfortable comes in after. And you
Mhm.
know what? If it's meant to be, it'll be. Like, I know
Right.
someone that's gotten a divorce and then they've gone back together and, like, they're so they just needed the time apart. And so
Yeah.
for that, I'm so happy for them. So if it is meant to be, it will be, but you know, even
Be
separating,
brave.
just
Right.
yeah, be brave, exactly. Even just separating for a couple months, we did no contact for a month and a half to 2 months before we decided that we were fully gonna, you know, get a divorce. So I think that that is so powerful too. You don't have to just think about, oh, I need to go get a divorce. You can also think about, let's separate for a little bit, take some time apart. And I think people forget that that is an option to do. Like,
Right.